you're rolling, Speedy.
So the U.S. are back in the round of 16 of the World Cup. Big game against the Netherlands. Obviously, there's a few ties with Serginho Dest having the opportunity to play for them too, but opting to play for the U.S. Seems like there's a lot of optimism just from the team and from fans. How do you feel going into today's game?
It feels like there's a ton of momentum, a lot of really positive energy, and the team is excited. I feel like the whole country has gotten behind this team throughout the group round, and now into the knockout stage, you can feel the energy kind of building around them. And I think Tyler Adams mentioned that they're aware of that happening here. You've seen kids watching in schools to bars being packed, and today, Saturday morning, everyone woke up, my texts are blowing up. So I think this is going to be sort of maybe a standout moment when we look at kind of World Cup histories. I hope the guys today take their opportunities. I think they're going to come out on the front foot. We've seen this team, even though they're young, never plays with fear. So I think they're going to come out and have a positive approach in this one.
And in the starting lineup, Walker Zimmerman's back in. Jesus Ferrer is getting his first minutes at the World Cup so far. What do you think that says about how the U.S. is planning to approach this game, and how do you think they'll approach this now kind of returning to the starting lineup for Walker and jumping into the starting lineup for Jesus?
Yeah, Greg Berhalter mentioned that Cameron Carter-Vickers was coming in specifically for the Iran match because he's used to playing in that style of the way the game was going to unfold, where the U.S. was going to have more of the ball and then have to defend in the counterattack. I thought Cameron Carter-Vickers did a fantastic job. And I also thought that Walker Zimmerman, when he came in, played a crucial role. Cleared the ball and the one that squirted beyond Matt Turner and then won everything in the air. So I think when you look at today, I can understand that Berhalter's made this choice to have Zimmerman come back into the team. Similar maybe to the England game where you see the setup, and then I think also set pieces. He brings a little bit more as you get further into the tournament. Set pieces become such a crucial part of it. The U.S. hasn't been good to this point, but getting your most dangerous weapon on the field for a knockout stage round makes a ton of sense. So I think Zimmerman coming into the lineup makes a lot of sense.
And how about Jesus starting up top for the U.S. today?
Yeah, Jesus Ferreira, at first coming into the lineup sounds like a big surprise because he hasn't featured, he hasn't come in off the bench even in this tournament. And you go back and you say, well, that's a big pressure coming in against the likes of Virgil van Dijk. But when you think about it a little bit more, it makes sense to me because in the system, Ferreira fits quite well. Sargent, his injury, may not be ready to go from the start, and then you see Wright really didn't kind of take his opportunity when it arrived. So Ferreira has a ton of experience playing with this group. So I think as far as integrating, it makes a ton of sense. He had a great season with FC Dallas, scored a bunch of goals, and I think fits this system, most importantly, very well.
Awesome. Thanks, Calen.
Good to go.
So tough result for the U.S. today. They're out of the World Cup. Given the performance, given the tough opponent, what did you see today that maybe sparked some sense of encouragement for going forward with this team?
Yeah, well, first of all, credit to the Netherlands. They were strong and ruthless in each of their chances. I thought they gave a sort of a different approach than we were expecting, where they sort of sat back and said, here, take the ball here. It was very difficult to find space, especially in the first half. But look, the U.S. were able to create opportunities to get the big chance early from Christian. Unlucky, just inches one way or the other, and that goes in, that changes the game. And then a couple uncharacteristic mistakes in the back as far as tracking runners or leaving players open, and against the Netherlands side with the quality they have, you can't do that. And so I thought the U.S. made a good push in the second half to really put a fight into the game and made some substitutions that really gave the team some life and gave them a chance. But then again, the mistake happens and that ends things. But overall, I thought this tournament was a huge positive for a young U.S. men's national team. We've talked so much about that youth. I love that they weren't afraid. I think they gave a great account of themselves. We saw some players emerge throughout the tournament that I think are going to continue to be huge parts of this team going forward. I think this team will largely keep this core going forward as opposed to what we saw maybe in the last 4 years, which was really names that people had never heard of before, or unless you were really following youth development here. So disappointing, frustrating, because you felt like there was more from this team right now. I'm sure they'll have felt that way, and that's partly what I love about this team is that they weren't just happy to be at the round of 16. They really wanted to push through to the quarterfinals and really kind of see what they could do for it. But I have to say, overall, I felt very proud to watch the U.S. men's national team at the biggest stage in the world, and for a fan, I think that's all you can say, and I'm looking forward to the future because I know we have so much talent.
That was good. That was like a